And they're off. And Edward Bevington, we have a movie reaction channel. It's on here. Popcorn Junkies. Edward Bevington, be good if we had a movie reaction channel. We do. It's here. It's a broad church. It's a broad church. Just pump in Popcorn Junkies and you'll get there. Good morning. It's Friday. I never wait a Harry Potter film or Star Wars. Sorry, Margaret, I don't quite understand what you're saying there. Morning, Elaine Denning, Linda Lovell, Susan Cooper, thank you, Linda Lovell, Margaret O'Brien. Just pop in Popcorn Junkies into YouTube and you'll get all the movie reactions and reviews you want. You never see. Holly McCready, happy Friday, everyone. Susan Fleming, Emma Walsh, Sarah Clift. Hello. Morning, hello, Gaynor, Jane Collett, Tiggy, Lorna Stewart, Julie Bed. It's Friday, and what does that mean? Oh, what does it mean? Means the Friday quiz is coming later. Oh. It's Friday, which means most people are going clubbing tonight. Let me just get a pen because it's someone's birthday. There's never a pen when you need a pen. Hello. Here we are. Oh, here we are. Let's just have a little. What do we do this? Is anyone going clubbing tonight? Happy birthday, Jean. Or is it Jean? Jean. Morning, Siobhan. Morning. How are we all, guys? Sometimes we put on a front and other times we don't. And today I'm putting on a front. Not a front. You'll cheer me up. You always do. Why don't we do it? Are any of you going clubbing? Absolutely not, says Aaron Bullimore. Nothing worse than clubbing. Okay, I'm trying to think. What shall we do? What about this? Dance with me. Oof. Do you find when you get older, if you do fast head moves, you get incredibly dizzy. Gabrielle, where's Mental Marky gone? I know. He's been hiding for a fair old time, hasn't he? Naughty thing. Morning, everyone. Keep your fingers away, says Sadie C. What, from the music? Keep your fingers away from the music. Okay, so obviously it's hashtag Fuck Off Friday, which is always good. Can't stand Fridays because everyone says it's hashtag Fun Friday vibes. What's your worst Friday hashtag? Hashtag Fun Friday vibes. Hashtag fucking how you are. Fuck Off Friday. Yeah, just fuck off Friday. Look, there's two things about Fridays. One, it's great. But two, it's other people saying have a great time because it's like the sun, it puts pressure on you. And it's bloody annoying. Anyway, there we go. So, I just wanted to get us in the kind of clubbing mood. I don't know, I miss it. I miss all that stuff. I was listening to music in the car late last night, driving, and it's just, I like music. What can I say? It's just fun. But anyway, that's just me. Oh man, Vicky Equi. hang. Okay, let's pull up your comments. Let's have a look at the news. I tell you what. Let me just do this, do that. View on YouTube. Friday, and it's raining, Kylie Mitchell. Yeah, it's kind of not really raining here. It's sort of doing that thing where it rains and then it's sunny. Go to a funky pub with a garden, says Edward Bevington, and have a jiggle. Don't know if that necessarily means dancing, does it? Yes, Mary Quant did die. Absolutely loved her, especially the makeup. Iconic. Yeah, she was the same age as my nan, 93. It's always a tricky one, isn't it, when people die at that age? Because everyone says things like, oh, she had a good innings and all that kind of stuff. But to everyone who loved her and knew her, she's gone, and that's not nice. But yeah, the miniskirt, man. The miniskirt, you know, not, as men would think, an excuse to wolf whistle, but actually an act of feminine empowerment. Or was it? Was it? Or was she appealing to male sensibilities? Let's ask that question. Was the miniskirt liberating or what's your word? Appealing to, or as a result of male desire. So let's have liberating. I watched someone else online who does these, and they go completely quiet whilst they're doing them. It's really odd. Result of male desire. I mean, obviously, you know, a great design expert. Let's pull up. I mean, obviously, I'm not a fashion guru, but we all know the name Mary Quant. And of course, yes, she did do makeup. An astounding innovator of the 1960s. The Creever family, I absolutely shattered for this weekend. Can't even remember the days of clubbing or having energy. Yeah, it's hard all day. We used to get Fabric a lot. We used to get Fabric at, what was the name of the venue that Fabric happened at? It was in King's Cross. Can't remember. Not Dingwalls, somewhere else. Mary Quant, British designer who made the miniskirt fashionable, died at the age of 93. During the 60s, she became a poster girl for Youthquake. She made bright, colourful, simple clothes. They weren't cheap. Apparently, a pinafore dress cost 6 guineas in 1963, which is equivalent to £100. The designer summed up the decade's new mood, writing in a best-selling 1966 autobiography. The young were essentially tired of wearing the same as their mothers. The reason I'm asking that question on the poll is Russ out. Home time vlogs. Good point. Yeah, Crete and a home time. A very funny home time is due to land very soon. The thing I feel about this is, and part of this was watching my mum's experience at the tail end of the kind of hippie freedom kind of thing, and sometimes I see the sort of things like the miniskirt and all that kind of stuff as an extension of that free living hippie kind of free love and all that kind of malarkey. What became apparent was that free love and hippie love and all that kind of stuff was another way of allowing creepy men to essentially kind of have their way with women, selling it as free love. I think some people argue that the pill, whilst liberating in some respects, the sort of flip side of it is that it kind of gave men even more freedom, because at that point, women hadn't yet fully become conversant with how they were kind of controlled by society. Creeber, it was the start. Or am I getting, is this too serious? Is it just a miniskirt? Because I think some people think, even to this day, when you wear a miniskirt, you're saying something. Lots of men do. I don't, but lots of men do. Do you know what I mean? What do you think, guys? I love Twiggy, Hilary Daly. I love Twiggy. I used to go to Pop Stars at the Scala. The Scala, when it used to be a cinema and a sort of crazy nightclub place. Very crazy. I was young, Brenda Emma. Mary Quant pushed me through the years. I loved fashion ever since. Let's have a look. Over a quarter. Where did that voice come from? Over a quarter of you saying result of male desire. Yeah, we used to go to the Astoria nightclub. Oh, so did I. It's just cool. Hopefully that hasn't knocked coverage out, has it? Sometimes when I get a call, it kind of plays havoc with the audio. Is the audio still there? I'm just going to drink my coffee whilst you... I'm saying I like my legs, says Sadie C. Holly McCready makes a very... Holly McCready makes a very good point. Where are you? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Sorry, call coming in. I'm okay, good. Where are you? Holly McCready. Personally, if you're wearing baggy jeans, men still are weird, so just wear the miniskirt. But then again, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, says Jeanette Swift. You see, I really think this, and Mum, I hope you don't mind me saying, but I was very young, but I felt with certain individuals in our lives when I was young that this liberal attitude of sort of female emancipation. Okay, let me just take this off and come back. I'm just going to take this off and come back. Hopefully I'm back in sync. Hopefully I'm back in sync. Is that better? Hi, Tez. Is that better? Is that better? All good? Okay. What was I saying? What was I saying? Completely lost what I was saying. Yes, this sort of masquerading female emancipation type thing operated for men really well. It was, you know, it played to their strengths. It played to their ability to do whatever it is they wanted. So, you know, you were lost in female emancipation. The pups don't lie. Erin Bullimore, contraception for women is a whole nightmare. My friend just came off the pill, which means she'll be bleeding for about a month, maybe more, which can be... Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the sort of politics of the pill. It suited men. That's what I'm saying. It suited men. And it, of course, Woodstock, lots of women taking their tops off. It's like, come on, guys, free love, let's look at more. Tiggy, nothing better than making people think they want to do it, wear it. So there you go. Edward Bevington might have even set back the women's movement by decades. Interesting, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I'm not wanting to piss on the sort of, you know, the heritage of the miniskirt. But it's interesting, isn't it? There's a flip side always. You know, and the dangerous fashion was always like that. But the Victorian Hour, obviously, that museum dedicated to fashion and all sorts of other things and design, paid tribute on Twitter, saying it's impossible to overstate Quant's contribution to fashion. She represented the joyful freedom of 1960s fashion and provided a new role model for young women. What I would say, off the back of what I've just been saying and being a killjoy about the 1960s and free love and all of that, it was kind of like a necessary gateway moment, I guess, towards women's lib. I talk about this only because I was at the epicenter of women's lib in the 70s. My mum used to run all of the feminist groups in Ladbroke Grove, all that kind of stuff. Just checking there was so the front of the newspapers, I just want to run through the front of the newspapers. The Metro has a farewell Miss Miniskirt. Even the front of the Financial Times, British youth culture pioneer, dies at 93. The front of the Times has a big photo of Mary Quant. Also talks about driverless cars, which I want to talk about in a minute. Front of the Daily Telegraph, deaths rise as junior doctors go on strike. Nothing on the front there about Mary Quant. Front of the Daily Mail, Mary Quant is there, and not surprisingly, the Daily Mail bringing up the Rishi Sunak quote that we're also going to talk about. At last, a leader who knows what a woman is. As Rishi says, 100% of women don't have a penis. We're going to talk about that. Families plead for disabled children to get access to their savings. Disabled children are still being denied access, apparently, to their savings. That's the front of the Eye. Daily Express, no appetite to make peace with Harry. We're going to briefly be talking about that too. Photograph of Dame Mary Quant on the front there. Story on the front of the Mirror. Mirror always goes solo, doesn't it? Rapist gets his hands on £7 million lotto jackpot. I think fighting in the courts for 15 years. He won the lotto. And the front of the Daily Star, in inimitable fashion, has It's the Pit's new pongdemic fear. Whiff of trouble over £5 cans of deodorant. Cost of living pushing deodorant up, which means we're going to be a smelly nation. Classic Daily Star. Pondemic. Orange jams from the title. I thought we were talking about Sunak's penis. Well, you never know. We could go there. So those are all the stories today. What do we think of Prince Harry and the coronation? Let's look, a third of you think the miniskirt result of male desire rather than necessarily liberating. That's interesting. Elon Musk. Elon Musk. He's just a bit weird, isn't he? Isn't he introducing a sort of paywall or some sort of thing today? What else has he done? I'm not entirely sure. He hasn't popped up on my news sort of radar today. Harry and Meghan, I mean, obviously everyone gets a bit tedious and a bit tired, but so Prince Harry is coming solo, by all accounts, to the coronation. I think it's intriguing because Meghan's going to stay back in California. She's going to be looking after the kids. Prince Harry apparently, there's sort of lots of quibbling about who's going to be sat in front of him, who's going to be sat behind him, who's going to be sat alongside him. You sort of wonder, why are you coming if it's this sensitive a thing? I mean, you do wonder whether, is there going to really be an opportunity to kind of make amends and what have you? There was an interesting interview of Vox Pop. We're not going to sit on this story for long. There was an interesting interview of Vox Pop with Deepak Chopra, who appeared on their podcast, apparently, who says that he feels they're struggling right now. There's a lot of drama around them and people should mind their business. John Lydon of the Sex Pistols told them to shut up and F off. I mean, I think they've possibly lost the heart of the people, to quote the Queen of Hearts. The atmosphere, you're going to cut a knife. Look, for as many people who say I'm not interested, everyone is going to be watching the coronation to look at Harry, not Prince Charles or King Charles. I always think of a dog whenever I say King Charles, don't you? Not King Charles Spaniel the First. Oh my God, is that what's it called? What is it called? Treachery or something like that. Anyway, so that's Prince Harry and Meghan. So let's get to Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak has, and this is obviously feeding into the ways in which the Conservative Party are wanting to suggest that Labour are in a tizzy fit about not being able to define what a woman is. And I think this is complicated. Rishi Sunak has sort of, tried to be absolutely clear so that he can sort of show up Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer said in an interview recently that 99.9% of women do not have penises, suggesting that 0.1% of women do have penises. Rishi Sunak has said 100% of women do not have a penis. So I want to ask you a question. Do you agree with Sunak that 100% of women have penises? Now, for me, this discussion is about language as much as it is about, gender identity. It's, on the one hand, biological women, or women who are born, women, never have a penis. I mean, you might get the very, very rare occasion where people are born with both sort of anatomies, if you like, or both genitals. But in terms of, did I write the question incorrectly? Let's have a look. Do you agree with Sunak that 100% of women have... Yeah, that's a percent sign. Sorry, can you edit it? No, can't. It's 100%. Do you agree with Sunak that 100% of women... Oh, you're right, sorry. Hang on. Do you agree... Oh, for God's sake. Now I understand why that lady goes quiet. Do you agree with 100%? What is it? 100%. Do you agree with Sunak that... This is going well, isn't it? That 100% of women do not have penises. Is that right? So, and again, it's all right to ask these questions, I think. It's really important to ask questions. Asking questions is how you understand. So I think to ask a question is not to be anything. Biologically born women, I think what he's trying to say, and I think where he's trying to throw shade on Keir Starmer, is this idea of where is the question mark over a woman who's born biologically a woman. They don't have penises because you're born biologically woman. But of course, anyone who transitions or is in the process of transitioning and is a trans woman. I'm not entirely across all of the correct kind of terminology. Is going through gender realignment, etc., hormonal change, what have you. They're not biologically born, so that sits within a different category. And of course they have penis. And of course you can transition to being a woman, to being a man with a penis, and you were once a woman. But I think anatomically, in terms of biology, I think he's trying to make a point there. I don't think he's trying to comment, because he does say in his interview, we should always have compassion and understanding and tolerance for those who are thinking about changing their gender. When it comes to these issues of protecting women's rights, women's spaces, I think the issue of biological sex is fundamentally important when we think about those questions. Now, I totally understand how trans people can be prejudiced against and treated in a sort of malignant, horrible way. And I don't think it's right that there's always this assumption, because these are rare cases where someone who's transitioned or is in the process of transitioning takes advantage or moves into these shared spaces. I think that is the exception rather than the norm. And I think the press kind of want to push this narrative that that potentially everyone who transitions is somehow dubious, and I think that's absolutely outrageous. But what I do think is that it's okay to identify everyone differently, and I think it's all right for there to be a category of woman, and then a category of everything else on that sort of rainbow dial of various sort of different genders and different different determinations of what you are, what you've become, and what you identify as. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because I think what the story behind this is how the Conservatives are going to really try and attack Labour. And by all accounts, the Conservatives are creeping, and narrowing the margin of Labour's lead. So what do you think, guys? Let's have a look. The vast 3/4 of you agree with Sunk. Couldn't get that right, could I? Let's have a look. Erin Bullerman, not fully functional, Beth, but you can be born with both. Yeah, I did say that, but I do think that's the exception rather than the rule. Let's stay nice. Let's stay nice about this. Chloe, if you're born with both, which I don't think is possible, then you're a rare case and needs to have that fixed as science went wrong. By and large, I'd have thought most people do have some kind of process to kind of do something about that, but I don't think necessarily they've been born. I'm not suggesting you're saying that, but born wrong, if you know what I mean. Beth, my sister is a nurse. It's very rare, but can happen. It is very rare, and that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, and that's not what Rishi or Keir Starmer are talking about. They're talking about transition, men who transition to women, etc., etc. And I think it's important for women to feel that there's a distinction, as much as it's important for trans women to feel there's a distinction. I think you need to protect equally both parts of the community. That's my take on it. And I think a lot of people who say you want to protect both elements or all the kind of variants in between kind of feel that there's some kind of sort of hostility going on to trans. And I think there is with some, but there isn't with everyone, certainly not with me. And I think, again, it's healthy to ask questions. So, yes, the majority of you agree with Rishi. Oh, Nadia, you're in the room. Hi, Nads. Yeah, I thought when you were ringing, you might have known what was going on, babe. It's only my first coffee of the day, Nads. First. Promise you. Why does it matter? Well, it only matters because Rishi and Keir are fighting, and this is a culture war. This is going to be the Daily Mail fighting the Tories. Hey, smelly poo. Now, I want to talk about this. So it's not Rishi's penis. It wasn't Rishi's penis. This really annoys me. Hands-free cars. Let's start a poll. Do you agree with hands-free cars? My opening comment about this, what's that? My opening comment about this is just because you can do it doesn't mean you do it. I mean, this has got, smart motorways have been proven to be dangerous. Smart motorways have been proven to be dangerous. So surely hands-free cars are going to end up dangerous, no? Apparently, when you drive the car, ITV News test drove a new driverless or hands-free car that's been designed by Ford. And the UK is becoming, I think, only the third country to sanction their use. The first of its kind to be potentially used in Europe, the Blue Cruise system allows for hands-off, eyes-on driving technology. So you've still got to be attentive. But as we know, if people, when they're driving with their hands, can be tempted towards a text or the phone or, the incredibly complex now sort of entertainment system in a car, why the hell aren't people going to do it? So there's this idea that these cars will follow pre-mapped motorways and roads that will be digitally created. This is bonkers. This is utterly bonkers. Just because you can, why? I literally, it's unfathomable to me that the government have sanctioned, it's gained approval on the UK's motorways only, because of course, so many of the UK's roads, and when Americans often come to the UK, or friends that were American, they come to, my God, your roads are so complicated. You have avenues, crescents, all these kind of, they have avenues in New York, but, all these strange, windy little roads. It's, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, obviously they're not going to go on them. They're going to go on straight motorway roads. I don't even like cruise control in cars. It's incredibly sort of disrupting. It's incredibly disorientating because you can't believe that the car is doing it itself. Martin Sander, general manager of Ford in Europe, says it's not every day that you can say you've placed one foot in the future. But Ford Blue Cruise has become the first hands-free driving system of its kind to receive approval. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. What saith you? Look, 90% of you say no. I mean, all it's going to take is one sort of circuit kind of malfunction. Let's face it, every car goes a bit wrong. Planes fly on auto most of the time, don't they? That's very true. That's actually a very good point. But they're not, well, I was going to say they're not necessarily on freeways with thousands of other kind of airplanes really close to them. But then they are all coming into land. But doesn't the pilot take control as they come into land? What I'm saying is you don't get plane jams. You might get them circling in the air, but they're not literally bumper to bumper. I'm going to be fascinated. Well, I'm not going to be fascinated. You wait for the first casualty. Andrea Crash, my motorbike is hands-free when I roll on down a hill. It's fun too. Wow. It's why you're called Crash Andrea. Oh, very funny, very funny. One foot in the future, the other in the grave, says Sadie. Very good point, very good point. I just think it's bonkers. It's the Grand National this weekend. And obviously these events sort of happen over days. It's like Ascot and all that kind of stuff. I'm not au fait with horse racing events. But the Grand National, the first horse has already died, tragically, in the Grand National Festival, which obviously stretches across days. A horse called Envoy Special fell in the Fox Hunters Chase yesterday afternoon. When assessed, they felt it had sustained a fatal injury and they shot it. Now, I can't remember where I saw a sketch or a meme, I think Maddie might have shown me. Why is it always a given that when a horse breaks its leg or has an injury, it's automatically shot? Is this just like received wisdom? Why can't they be, like other animals and pets, repaired or have some kind of surgery to kind of, obviously their life isn't going to be normal, but so that they can have some kind of life. Is it just not possible? Or sometimes I just think, or is this an upper class inherited process where it's like, yeah, right, have to shoot the horse. It's no good. Put him out to dry. Do you know what I mean? Or is there a sort of absolute reason? You rarely hear of a horse falling or being injured or breaking its leg and then being looked after. as you can hear. That's why I don't like horse racing. Too many horses getting hurt. Dawn Decker, trainers don't want the cost of vet bills. Is that why? Because I think that's absolutely diabolical. If that is the case, if that's the sole reason. You know, with our dogs, with all our pets, we go to the vets and we try and have some sort of, you know, sort of medical help to sustain them. But anyway, it's always struck me as strange that it's a given that some toff in a sort of barber jacket always wanders over with a shotgun and puts them out of their misery. Like, you know, it's like, come on, Tarquin, let's go and put the ball. Horse has fallen, twisted its ankle, let's go and shoot it. Russ South, horses bred for racing, if they can't race, they're seen as no good. It's really sad. It's really sad, isn't it? It's like greyhound racing. Julie Beddoes, horses are so strong but also so fragile at the same time. This is so cruel. They are fragile, but I'm not entirely certain that shooting them is the only solution. I wanted to talk about coincidences, and this is less a news story, but more a kind of philosophical conversation. This was a piece that I saw in The Guardian. It just got me thinking about coincidences. Let's have a look. What's the poll here? Do you agree with hands-free cars? No. Should have asked, is the Grand National, do you believe coincidences are sort of more than just coincidences? Now, I just want to share with you this article, you know, is there some kind of meant to be sort of fate? Do you know what I mean? It's like me and Nadia have so many coincidences in our past in terms of streets we lived on, people we knew, places we were at the same time. Synchronicity. Do you believe coincidences are more than just coincidences? Yes or no? Chloe Georgina Reynolds, yes, Albert Einstein said a coincidence is a sign from God. Isn't that amazing? Marina O'Driscoll, horse breaks its leg, they never mend properly. They might not mend properly for horse racing, but they might mend properly for them to go, you know what, I want to stay in this paddock and just eat grass. Sliding doors, etc. Well, this piece, which is very long, very existential and very philosophical, looks at a lot of science, but it's kind of, I find this sort of stuff fascinating. It talks about this coincidence, which I thought was staggering, and it revolves around the actor Anthony Hopkins. And this example is really interesting. He was going to play a part in a film called The Girl from Petrovka back in 1974. He tried to find the book, to read the book, obviously as research, as an actor, to kind of understand his role, etc. Couldn't find it anywhere. He combed through bookshops in London, everywhere. He looked everywhere. I mean, obviously in the 1970s, you know, he couldn't go online or anything like that. He looked absolutely everywhere. It's a book by a chap called George Pfeiffer. But get this, he went to London, and on a bench in Leicester Square, he found an abandoned copy of the book. Picked it up, and there were red ink marks in it and everything. And this book, if I'm right in thinking, was owned by the director. The author was owned by the author, and he'd mislaid it in another part of London. And so the same book popped up. How coincidental is that? It's in The Guardian. Are coincidences real? I just found out that Anthony Hopkins story amazing. He spotted a copy of The Girl from Petrovka lying on a bench in Leicester Square. And when he recounted the story to Pfeiffer, who's the author, it transpired that the book Hopkins stumbled across was the very one the author had mislaid. Wow, what sort of massive coincidences have you had in your life? Have you had any major coincidences? That's an unreal story. You sometimes wonder whether people exaggerate a coincidence. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, that was so refreshing. Orange Jams, coincidences are a glitch in the simulation of life. Let's have a look, what do you think? Do you believe coincidences are more than just coincidences? Yes. 4/5 of you say yes, 80%. Heather Draper, fundamentally I believe in fate. Yeah, I think I do, do I? I think there's a purpose for everything. I see certain numbers like 1111 all the time, May Edmondson. Angel numbers, says May Edmondson. What are the odds? 1,000,000 to 1. I think things happen for a reason, Marina O'Driscoll. There you go. Yeah, no, vast majority of you feel that they're more than that. I mean, I must admit, when me, as I say, when me and Nads go through stuff, we feel that. So coincidences, serendipity, synchronicity, all those kind of things. Holly McCready, I find little white feathers in my worst moments, which I always take as a sign. A little white feather the other day landed in my hand as I was getting in the car. Existential Friday. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to share 2 quick stories before we get on with the Friday quiz. Most fathers will take their kids out, I don't know, to the swimming pool, to a fun fair. He might, you might, all mothers, you might take them to, but this is a story about a father. You might take them to the cinema, to a playground, to a play. You'll take your kids out to do things, to watch a football match. Kim Jong-un takes his daughter out to watch the launch of a new stealth ballistic missile. Just wanted to share that with you because sometimes you wonder how the other half live. And I think it's good to know there's a beautiful, kind of almost romantic photo of Kim Jong-un on the left with his daughter on the right, and they're holding hands. And in the distance, there's a ballistic missile that could carry a nuclear sort of pack just firing off into the air. And so clearly, it's different horses for courses. Watching a missile take off for Kim Jong-un, it must be as sort of tranquil and beautiful as, I don't know, watching your child ride a horse around a paddock. So yeah, Kim Jong-un and his 10-year-old daughter gone out for a lovely day. Oh, look, there's another shot of them walking across the grass, and behind them is a giant rocket launcher. Oh, how sweet, It's lovely. Of course he does, says My Little Ponies. The whole family is deluded. Let me close off that poll. Still, majority of you feel coincidence or something else. And also, I mentioned yesterday, finally, before the quiz, that Arnold Schwarzenegger filled a pothole. I'll be back. He needs to come to London, because I'm telling you now, most people, there are going to be a lot of crashes. This is a good question. How would a hands-free car negotiate the potholes of London right now? It's diabolical out there. So you can't, what if a hands-free car gets a puncture? It's madness. Sorry, that story just drives me mad. Anyway, Arnie, the Terminator, or the pothole fillinator, has discovered, great shots. He's gone online, he filled it. He was a hero, have a go hero, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he's been notified by one of the kind of sort of, not energy, but service companies that sort of deals with gas and all that kind of stuff, that he filled the wrong hole. Apparently he's a pothole pretender. It's not the real thing. He filled a hole which was actually meant to be there as a service trench company called SoCal Gas. Oh no, SoCal Gas said, as gas company, said that the trench was there because some reparations needed to be done to the pipe system, the gas pipes in the area. And in the end, he's filled it with the wrong stuff. I think, so what? If you've left a hole and you need to fix a gas pipe, get on with it. All I want is I want to employ Schwarzenegger to come over here and fill the potholes of London. But anyways, he's filled the wrong hole. He shouldn't have filled it, basically. They told Arnie it's okay. Any of us would be prosecuted, Edward Bevington. Yeah, well, you don't want to get in a fight with Arnie, do you? He'll set his donkey on you. Do you remember that in lockdown? He gave a sort of speech from his room with his donkey. Anyway, okay, that's all the kind of weird stories of the day and the news. So, shall we do Quiz of the Week? Anyone who doesn't like Quiz of the Week, head off now. Go and enjoy your Friday. Fuck off, hashtag fuck off Friday. We are now going to do the Friday quiz, which I think deserves, in good old-fashioned tradition, it deserves, where is it? It's the Friday quiz, folks. Bloody hell. Very quick. Apple Music, the Apple app, always kicks in with the next song. Okay, let's find all your comments on here so I can sort of give running scores like the Grand National. Please no one fall, because we don't want you having to be shot. Okay. I'll fall as is my tradition. Goody quiz. Okay, here we go, guys. Any of you not up for it, head off now. Any of you up for it, here we go. Quiz of the week. So, question 1. Details of the horse-drawn carriage in which King Charles III will travel to his coronation have been announced. But which of these mod cons does it include? And it's not hands-free driving or hands-free horsing. So which of these does his carriage contain? Is it A, parking sensors, B, electric windows, or C, heated seats? Which of those does King Charles III's carriage have? Is it A, parking sensors, B, electric windows, or C, heated seats? Oh, look, a lot of you going for heated seats, especially in this country. This is like the Grand National. This is like watching all the horses approach the first hurdle. And as they're running up to the first hurdle, Shansta Migmon, Clodagh Egan, and coming up on the inside, Melanie Wright, Mika Mack up on the inside too. 3 furlongs ahead is Anne with C. May Edmondson, does it fill potholes too? May Edmondson C because he's a bit older. Sean Tucker coming up on the inside, on the outside, and the inside. So many of you have fallen at the first fence. I hate to say it. It's not heated seats. It's B, electric windows. Oh, guys, I just saw a wealth of C's. And it's B, electric windows, sorry. Elon Musk. Someone wanted to talk about Elon Musk. Question 2. Elon Musk sat down for an interview with the BBC at Twitter headquarters. Who did he say was Twitter's new CEO, Chief Executive Officer? Was it A, Jack Dorsey, B, Parag Agrawal, or C, his dog Floki? Who did Elon Musk say was the new CEO of Twitter? Was it A, Jack Dorsey, B, Parag Agrawal, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, or C, his dog Floki? Yeah, lots of you are not going to get 7. I can tell you that for nothing. A lot of you going for C again. Nix, Charlene Evans, Sean Tucker, Creatorholic, Lorna Stewart, Erin Bullimore. Nicole Abbott, C, going to just fail the whole quiz. No, you're not, because C is correct. Whee! Some of you will have recovered. Question 3. US President Joe Biden is visiting Ireland this week, and he's proud of his Irish roots. But what was his mother's Irish family name? Was it A, Finnegan, B, Blewett, as in he blew it, or C, McKevitt? What was Biden's mother's Irish family name? Was it A, Finnegan, B, Blewett, or C, McKevitt? Any Irish more? We've got lots of Irish followers here. Maybe you'll know. Linda Lovell, you're right, it was his dog. Okay, new answers coming in. Lorna Stewart says A, Finnegan. Chloe Georgina says A, Finnegan. Clodagh Egan Farty Pants says A, Finnegan. Lots of A's coming through, apart from Fifi Cromax saying B, Marina O'Driscoll saying Blewett. Lots of A's, Michelle Hofstein, May Edmondson, Jean McGrogan. Russ Ouch is saying B. You blew it, Russ, you blew it, because it's A, Finnegan. Question 4. Oh yeah, I saw this. Why did a performance of The Bodyguard musical in Manchester have to be cut short? A, a blackout, B, audience members singing along, or C, people storming the stage? Why did The Bodyguard musical in Manchester have to be cut short? Was it A, a blackout, B, audience members singing along, or C, people storming the stage? Oh, look, lots of you saying B. This got a lot of pickup in the press, actually, this story. I'm surprised we didn't pick up on this. I think, is this the one that Alison Hammond had to apologise for? Saying, yeah, he's saying it's right. Lots of you getting it right. Audience members singing along. Well, you're making a good recovery, despite sort of stumbling at the first hurdle. Oh, lovely Stranger Things star. Question 5. Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown, bless her, announced her engagement. But who is her fiancé's famous rocker father? Is it A, Axl Rose, B, Tommy Lee, or C, John Bon Jovi? I think a lot of you are going to do this one as well. Who is Millie Bobby Brown's fiancé's famous rocker father? Is it A, Axl Rose, B, Tommy Lee, or C, John Bon Jovi? Look at you, coming through with C everywhere. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. C, John Bon Jovi. Question 6. A Mayan circular stone was found at the Chichen Itza archaeological site in Mexico. Okay. A Mayan circular stone was found at the Chichen Itza archaeological site in Mexico. It's thought to be 1,200 years old. but what was it used for? Was it A, a calendar to track the seasons? Was it B, a scoreboard for a ball game? Or was it C, a headstone for a Mayan royal? What was this 1,200 round sort of archaeological stone in Mexico used for? A, a calendar. B, a scoreboard for a ball game. Or C, a headstone for a I don't know how to pronounce it, Mayan royal. Lots of you saying a headstone for a royal. Carol Aviard, Anna Charalumbus, Denise Drummond and Jan are all saying a calendar to track the seasons. Julie Beddoes is saying B. Andy Kirkham is saying B. Erin Bullimore is saying B. A scoreboard for a ball game. It's a scoreboard for a ball game. They were into football back then. A scoreboard. Wow. Wow. Okay, anyone got, well, no, very few of you, if you have got 6 out. If you got past question 1 correctly, you might have 6 out of 7, because all the others have been not easy, but relatively straightforward. Anyone got 6? Before I crack into the final question. 4, Creatolo. 3, Chloe Georgina Reynolds. 5, Elaine Denning. Nicole Abbott, 5. Oh, Julie Beddoes, 6. All to play for, Julie. Okay. I think that's the only one I'm seeing come through. Okay, Julie, 6. Final question. The new Super Mario Brothers movie has broken box office records. It really has. Weekly Rushes is landing this weekend. With the most successful global... Oh, look, someone else there. Nick's 6. It's broken off box office records with the most successful global opening of all time for an animated film. But which movie did it overtake for the title? Was it A, The Incredibles 2? Was it B, The Lion King? Or is it C, Frozen 2? Not an obvious answer there, is there? Which movie did Super Mario Brothers overtake to become the most successful global opening of all time for an animated film? Was it A, The Incredibles 2, B, The Lion King, or C, Frozen 2? Lots of you, Katie K, Brenda M, Emma Walsh, Georgina Demetrio, all saying C, Frozen 2. Lots of you, Butterfly Bell, Angela Thompson, Sonia Donovan, Laura Williams. Sadie C. Jan saying The Lion King. You know what? I thought it was The Lion King. The answer is C, Frozen 2. There you go. I only got 5 out of 7. How did you do? How did you do, guys? I'm so pissed off about the hands-free cars. I can't tell you. It's really pissing me off. Every time I sort of pause for a second, or there's a nanosecond in my head where there's a moment of air, I go, what fucking idiots. 6 out of 7, Elaine Denning. Best yet. Well done. Any 7s? Oh, Nix. 7 out of 7. Well done. A big round of applause to Nix. Well done. N-I-C-H-S. Nix. Well done. Happy birthday, Jean. I won't sing it, but have a very happy birthday, Jean. And Julie Beddoes got 7 out of 7. Congratulations. Let's give Julie Beddoes a big round of applause. Or do Charlene Evans's emoji, which is lovely. Okay, guys, have a lovely day. As I say, vlogs will be landing. It's a live No Name Sunday show. There will be a members live at some point, just working it out with Nads. A Weekly Rushes is landing, and God, it's just a fun, packed channel. So have a lovely weekend.